questions that you may have, and my plight for the fight for 15 and affordable health care and housing as well going forward. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Right, your questions now. Can I ask you anything? Almost. Okay, in terms of the fight for 15, throughout 2014 and 15, 1199 SEIU members have been very active in the fight for 15, both in the streets and at the bargaining table. Maria Mercado is the Executive Vice President of 1199 SEIU, United Healthcare Workers East, the largest healthcare union in the nation. She began as a member in 1199 SEIU in 1978 and has been on staff since 1997. She is currently the Executive Vice President representing the workers at Mount Sinai Network. Being a leader of the union has allowed her to pursue her two major passions, social justice and political action for working people. As a member of several committees and coalitions, she has had the opportunity to participate in social justice forums throughout the country and the globe. She is the Vice President of the Westchester Putnam Central Labor Body, Executive Vice President of the Labor Council for Latin American Advancement, Westchester Chapter, Trustee of 1199 SEIU Benefit Funds, and alternate trustee of the Pension Fund.
Good morning. Buenos días. New York is, without doubt, one of the most, can you hear me? Yes? One of the most expensive states to live in. Everything is expensive. Housing, food, transportation, breathing. Everything in New York is more expensive than in many other states. Yet, we still sit around and talk about whether somebody, or whether we, not somebody, whether we, as New Yorkers, should raise the minimum wage to $15. When we all know that even with $15, it's hard to live. Even with $15 an hour, most of the poor New Yorkers are working people. They're not people on welfare. They are people that have not only one job. I know people that have 3 jobs, if you can imagine that. Yeah. Just think about it for a moment. When you work your 7, 8, 10 hours and you get out so tired, we have people out there that are already going into their 2nd job. And when we're getting up in the morning, somebody is going into their 3rd job. Because what they do is they take cat naps between jobs. I know people like that. How many of you know people like that? For anyone in your state to even consider that the idea of raising the minimum wage, which we are calling a living wage now.
Slight correction, it's Co-op City, and that's in the Bronx. Yeah, that's quite all right. Of course, I am a proud member of 2BJ SEIU, and we have been in the forefront fighting with groups and organizations, especially raising the minimum wage. I'll give a little story, a background of myself. And I immigrated to America or USA in 1996. And I lived in Brooklyn. My mom, God bless her, so she's still alive, she's 91 now. She supported us, me and my siblings, the 6 of us. Actually, it was 13 of us living in the house. Luckily, the house had an attic, so we divided into 2. And she worked at her work was elderly care. And she wasn't in the union. She was working for $6 an hour. So many times for the weeks we won't be able to see her because she had to work double and overnight and just to help us get ahead. It so happened that she became ill, and my sisters and several of my siblings, they took care of her. She's living with my sisters, and we take care of her. She hasn't been able. She didn't qualify for Social Security, because she had to leave before they could proceed 10 quarters. Anyway, 3 years ago, the fast food workers started a movement. At that time, everybody thought it was crazy. Fighting the 15 is impossible. But it so happened it took root, and all the different organizations, all the different workers realized that this could be a reality. So it became global. And that fight continued. And thanks to our governor, he signed an executive order, appointed a wage board, and you know, that went forward. So the thing is, now New Yorkers who work full-time should not have to live in poverty, be forced to work to make a choice between housing and food and health care. So it's important that the minimum wage should be raised. I agree that 15 is not enough, but we can start, we're ready to start with that. You don't want to kill the goose that laid the golden egg. And it should be appended to cost of living, so that would actually go up as cost of living goes up. As Conrad here says, wages have stayed flat, cost of living gone up, and no improvement. The Fight for 15 is a transformative movement and it's fueled a national movement. New York is one of the most expensive states. I can tell you, it's $4 for a loaf of bread here. It's no joke. Today, and working for $10 or $7 an hour, a lot of workers still work for that. I can't see how they could buy. They can't buy bread, maybe. They can't even buy some flour to make a roti. There's a lot of, they're against that, You're supposed to pull yourself up by your shoe strap when you ain't got on shoes. No, the thing is, for a gym member, start to raise your own wages, our wages, that, that I'm happy to be a gym member because we get fairly good wages and benefits and things like that. But the thing is, it goes further than that, It's more like a social issue. It's not only about union members. We realize that it is important that the community of themselves should benefit, which in some cases they do. Because what happens, when people start to get at least $15 an hour, they're able to spend a little more, buy some candies or something for the kids, and that in itself raises the community to a level where it will impact the economy. Because they will spend a little more, then the shop owners or the businesses could employ more people, and so on. Because some politicians say, no, it would kill business, but that's a myth. For too long, the big corporate CEOs, they've been raking in profits, bags full, real money. Where people have been shut out from sharing in the prosperity. They'll be saying, we don't want $500,000, we don't want half of what you earn, we just want a little of it, so that we could live and be contented and happy, at least be able to support the families. Now, there's the thing, during the 1963 March in Washington, D.C., Dr. Martin Luther King and the movement he led also demanded $2 an hour minimum wage in 1963. Adjusted with inflation today, that $2 would have been like, say, $15. A little more than $15. So you can see where the struggle is important. It is necessary that we should come together collectively and fight for a decent living wage so that we can die in dignity. Thank you.
Tammy Miller is the chief.
I am going to talk with you about what quality child care means and what it means to parents, children, and to our economy. I just want to say to you all that in New York City, we have more than 500,000 children who are ages 0 to 4 years old. Approximately 52% of those children, almost 290,000 children, live below the 200% of the FPL, which is the federal poverty line. So what does quality child care mean to us, right? I can tell you this, quality child care is about more than just children. What it is about, what child care is about, it is the difference between a parent being employed and being unemployed. It is the difference between financial independence and the need for government assistance. It is the difference between latchkey children in our communities and children who receive supervised support. It is the difference between academic successes and remedial classes. It is definitely the difference between upward mobility for the working class or a downward spiral of the shrinking middle class. So let's talk about what child care means to parents. To parents, it's peace of mind, to put it bluntly, right? It's the ability to know that your children are properly cared for and nurtured. It's the ability to know that you can focus on work, your job performance, your responsibilities at work. It means less time off from work, which means you have a greater likelihood of being employed. It also means that you have an additional means of support for raising your children. Your daycare provider, your early childhood educator is likely the person that will notify you. First of all, if your child has an ear infection, that person is most likely to notify you of your child's developmental achievements and milestones that they're meeting. So it's a beautiful thing for parents to be able to go to work and know that the person they've left their child with is a regulated provider. That person is receiving unannounced supervised visits. That person is trained in CPR, first aid. That person has the ability to know the social, cognitive, emotional needs and developments of your child. So for parents, it's a no-brainer, right? I need child care in order to get to work. That's what child care means to parents. If we talk about what child care means to children, it means almost everything, only they don't know it because they're too young. What it means is they will have the ability to enter school prepared. It means that they will, in fact, get the cognitive, social, emotional development supports that are needed to ensure not just academic successes, but lifelong successes. It means, and this is an important one, especially since now more than ever before, we have more homeless children, we have more families in shelters. So child care to children means I get to eat healthy, nutritious meals every day while mommy's at work and while daddy's at work. It also means they have continuity of care. It means they're left every day with someone and the next day they can expect to see that same educator. It means that they get homework assistance. It also means this, and not a lot of people realize this, but child care is an essential part of managing and maintaining the infectious disease here in our lovely state of New York, right? Because child care providers make sure that children enter their programs and their immunizations are up to date. So that's a wonderful thing, right? And so it means a lot for children, it means a lot for parents. What does it mean for the economy? For the economy, it means stability. For the economy, it means that the economy can grow, right? And I will say to you, every investment that we make in child care and ensuring that parents have the ability and can access affordable child care means that we are improving the quality of our economy. Parents need subsidized care. Most parents cannot afford it. Let me give you a few stats before I close. The average family spends about $16,250 on infant care. A toddler care will cost you a little over $11,000. That's not affordable, right? So we need to make sure that child care subsidies are in place for parents. And equally as important, we need to ensure that the workers in this vital profession can actually earn more than a professional dog walker. Okay? So thank you very much for your time.
Let me start by thanking Assembly members Titus and Szilagis for sponsoring this fantastic panel and workshop that we're having here today. It is not surprising that labor and the caucus can come together on issues which affect all of us. 40-hour work week, child labor laws, increasing the middle class in the country, safety and health laws in the workplace. Where did all those come from? They came from the labor movement. It was the labor movement that awakened the conscience of this nation to bring workers in general to an even footing with those that are in charge. So, looking at what's going on today, We have a case which is before the United States Supreme Court, Friedrichs versus California Teachers Association. Many don't know much about it, but I want to just share with you, as a black man in the labor movement, as a labor leader, this decision will have great impact on me no matter what cap I put on and no matter what cap you put on. The issue with the Friedrichs case is an issue where big business, the far right, is simply trying to take the voice away from working men and women around this country. The attack is on the public sector. And why is the attack on the public sector? Well, two reasons. One, it has been the public sector unions that have led the fight to make sure that we have a voice in our government and make sure we have a voice who's representing us in our government. Far right don't need anybody standing up against them when they want to take over. And what do you mean, take over? Well, when I look at what happened just last time in the national elections, over 5 million more people, Democrats voted for House of Representative people, but the House is currently held by Republicans because they were able to gerrymander the districts. They want to keep that power. And we stand in the way as public employee unions of them keeping that power. We stand in the way of big business who at one time shared the wealth that they made with the workers that they employed, but they just got greedy over time and decided that they didn't want to share anymore, that they just wanted to take. And they don't understand that if you don't make a livable wage for the job that you have, you will not be able to buy whatever they're selling. Ford had that idea some years ago when he said, I'm paying my workers a livable wage so they can buy the cars that they make. Somehow, big business has gotten away from that. Walmarts are popping up all over the place, employing people. And they're employing people at such a wage that our tax dollar has to supplement them just to make it day by day. They're after us with this case. They want to break the unions with this case. They want to stop the only voice that working men and women have across this country. And it's not just about negotiating a contract. We've gotten away from that. It's more. When we look at the fight for 15, that's the fight for every working person in this state and in this country. That's the fight that we're leading as labor. When we look at affordable child care, it's not just for union workers, but it's for all workers in this state and in this country that we're looking at. When we talk about people being paid a livable wage, it's for everybody. So what the far right is trying to do with this case is they're trying to break the unions. They're trying to decrease and take away the dues from the unions so that we don't have the resources to fight for men and women across this country. I'm calling on all of you to stand up like never before. If you want to keep what we have, if you want to help our assembly members and our senators in this state and our Congress people and our senators in the country, if you want to help move this country forward, I say we have to stand up and let the right know that we will not be shut up, we will not be pushed back, we will not be silenced. We will be the force that they have come to be reckoned with. We will be the force that will lift up the voices of men, women, boys, and girls all across this nation. We will be the force that ensures that every worker has a voice at the table for whoever they're working with. So this Friedrichs case, simple case. They say you ought to have to sign up for union membership every year. Who the heck has to sign up for anything every year? You don't have to sign up to be a member of the Republican Party every year, do you? You don't have to sign up to be a member of the Democratic Party every year, do you? No, but they want to say you got to sign up to be a member of the union every year. Then they're going to say if the union is a bargaining agent, you don't even have to pay if they have to represent you. I mean, that don't make sense to my 8-year-old granddaughter. If somebody has to represent you, you've got to pay for that representation. So we've got to stand up and say we're not going to sit back. We're not going to let you take away our rights. We're not going to let you break our union. And if, by chance, the Supreme Court, which is trying to legislate, which they're not supposed to be legislating, that's the Congress's job, and they're trying to legislate. If the Supreme Court continues to do that, then we will stand up and we will ensure that the Congress and the President put laws in to reverse their decision. But in order to do that, we have to stand together and elect a president and elect a Congress that's willing to stand with us in our fight. Thank you.